blended 3 blends. Huh. No,
No, how did you say that?
it's supposed to be really smooth. Have you had it, Todd?
No.
No.
Now that you say that, it seems like I was somewhere, seems like
Jameson's is supposed to be there.
Jameson is very good.
Yeah. We're actually going to tour Jameson's when we're there.
Yeah. When are you going down?
August.
August? Yeah. Get down there. Yeah, pretty first.
Well, it's August because we're going to K-State game.
Yeah.
K-State in Iowa.
Don't be thirsty.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Not Linda.
Hello.
How are you?
Okay. We have 2 days of nice weather.
Did you see? I opened those up. It was a cave in here. I opened the windows up.
I do, it makes a difference.
Yeah, we got a couple nice days, and then it sounds like it could be blizzard conditions.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. It is crazy.
Did the greenhouse burn?
What's that? Yes.
So
Three out of the 4 is what I heard.
Is your house okay?
The house didn't get it.
Okay.
I went Saturday night, we're sitting there, and what were we watching? Police show. Morning.
Good morning.
Watching some police show. And it's like, this is 1411.
I do.
Sirens down.
I think I'm old.
So I kept getting louder and louder, so my computer TV, well, sure enough, they get louder, they went red lights. So I opened up the front door, and they were heading to the east. She wants to go at the door.
Yeah, me too.
Fire truck and car following it. And I'm looking over there, like, holy crap. I'm saying, one have to blow, and then all of a sudden you see explosions going off, everything else is propane tanks,
I see.
so on and so forth. Thank you, ma'am. And how are you this fine day?
Fabulous. It's Monday. Couldn't be happier and more chipper.
There you go.
Take that.
And so finally determined, Ben had called somebody to see if it was over by them. And determined it was grievance. Yeah.
So that's what the explosions were, was it
Yeah.
these two?
It's too bad.
Yep. That'd be perfect.
And I think Jennifer's coming in, but they need to know the cost of gallon that we're going to charge for the,
Yeah, that's what we talked about. But we were supposed to get a breakdown of what it costs us to put it down.
And Scott was supposed to give us a recommendation on it.
And Scott's not gonna be here, he told me Thursday night, and he was gonna go down to, take a car down to his daughter, he's down in Alabama, and then they're gonna drive him back today, so I have to take comp time today, so I'm just gonna take comp time, if that's okay, so yeah, send that in, so. Oh, it's nice. Is Jennifer coming in then?
That's what Mary just told me.
Because-
She's coming instead of that.
If they need to know the cost per foot, but I need to know the actual cost, what it costs to put it down, so if they got enough time to figure it, that's not a good excuse, so.
Did you freeze at soccer?
Oh, I had a blanket and an extra jacket, and I guarantee you it was a whole lot colder down there.
Put your bottom, we see all these people like
In
this.
that bottom with the
On
window.
Denver to Soccer Hill down the river,
It was terrible.
I'm not laughing.
I always keep a blanket in the bag, and I had gloves.
Well, I kept thinking, I was trying to figure out, because when you're going to soccer, it's like, I didn't think soccer started here yet, I thought, oh, chance, yes.
Yes, yeah. Third grader. And they had theirs the other day, and I said, you guys know there's snow out there somewhere. It's like, oh gosh.
It's not here Wednesday.
I know. It's crazy.
Good morning.
Hey Pat, how you doing?
Good, how are you guys?
Good.
glad to see Carol Harm there Tuesday. She's been good.
She will be good.
Yeah.
All right, I've got 9 o'clock, call the meeting to order. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, Pat, what you got?
Oh, I got a couple things here. Mark, we got a fire permit thing that we just signed. This time, first of all. Turned in a resolution, and I'll give you a copy, Keith, some signed off. I usually like to get, if I can't get 3 commissioners or 2, I usually have the chairman sign off, but I like to get at least 2 signing off just to be a happy camper. So we got that done, and at our last meeting with the LEPC, thank you, we updated some of our amendments in our bylaws. And it's basically, I think on page 4, that I want you to look at. Mark will have to sign off on it after you guys have time to review it, because this is the original with Todd's signature. So if you look on page 4 under the amendments, we did the confidentiality thing with hospitals and stuff, so information's not getting out to the public when we meet.
Is that the underline?
Yes.
Okay.
Right there. That's what we added to it. And then we have to get the chairman to sign off on it, and you guys can hold it. Christie will take a copy of this updated one.
I see nothing wrong with that. Any discussion on that? So you just want general consensus on?
Yep, and then I need you to sign off on
Okay.
it on the page with Tom's signature there.
So everybody's good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You need a copy of that for your stuff, so I need a copy of that, so I can yourself.
Right. There's that one there.
Thank you.
Betcha.
Other than that, I can get out of your hair.
So you're hoping for a quiet day on Wednesday? Hoping for a quiet day today and tomorrow with wind?
Yeah, well, they said that fire up by our house, they thought it was propane tank that they gave with, that maybe that blew it up. I did not hear it blow up.
Really? I could, like I said, I could see it. When I texted you that night, I'm standing out of the front porch watching, I'm thinking, man, that's over by the Fort Pass. And I'm standing out there watching the explosions go. I could see the,
Well,
I couldn't hear them, but I could see them.
looks like she had, when I went up there Sunday, they had 3 of their greenhouses down, and then the big one toward the back was still up, but I don't know if it had some damage to it. But
Yeah. Wasn't a good situation all the way around.
No.
But
I don't know, but on the fires there earlier, they had over 800+ acres that were burning at the 2 locations. So
yeah.
they did a good job of getting things contained, and
Good.
sources shot in, so that's positive. And that's why I had to call off on that one for the declaration. Anytime I call the state to get in stuff for the fire departments or whoever,
Yep.
we gotta turn that in. But they brought in the KDOT did the water trucks, and then we had brush trucks from outlying areas that were talking about
Good.
stuff. So
Do you ever,
it's good.
do you ever rely on the National Guard?
We do when it's big enough.
Okay.
And that's, I have to call in and go through the state to get anything brought in.
Right.
And the National Guard, we have utilized those when we had the blizzard. remember when it was, and then we had a tornado situation. We brought them in with generators.
Yeah.
They kind of got rid of their generators down there, so they're wanting cities and counties to have their own generators to be able to get by on, so we've been pushing that for the last 20 years. I like it.
Thank you.
Sounds
You
good.
guys, appreciate it.
Thank you, Pat, appreciate it. All right, we have a resolution before us, Resolution 2025-10. This is in regards to the, I believe, private cemeteries. Did you get a copy for everybody, or?
There's just one.
Okay, I'll pass this down here in just a second. I think pretty much it's basically as we had talked about it before. I think there was some language changes, whether it was private or family and so on and so forth. Or Matt.
Or on that.
And how they were going for the water lines and sewer lines and all that kind of stuff. But I don't believe there was anything different from what we had already discussed. Linda, I don't know if you were in on that or not.
No, I wasn't.
Before.
Good, yeah. Wonderful.
Did everybody get the planning commission minutes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And that's just informational, correct?
The important stuff in that. Don't transmit it. Ready for snow?
No, I'm hoping it stays wet. We've had,
One little wiggle, that's all we need. One little wiggle.
they're talking about weather conditions.
Yeah. That's what they're saying, Marshall County, but as close as it's supposed to get, but like I say, one little wiggle and we're right in it, so.
Just take a little bit and
Yep.
right here.
Yep. Of course, they're talking to us for a mix, so Lord only knows what's gonna happen.
My grandpa was right, he's right.
Good morning, Jennifer. Good
Morning.
How are we all?
Great.
Good. special use permit and have that
Yes.
okay before.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
You want action on it now, or you?
Yeah, did you want to look over it? or-
I'd like a little time
Yeah,
to read
look,
it, so.
well, we can look over it after Road and Bridge or whatever you want. Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, if you want to
Yep.
go ahead.
Can I grab that?
Yeah, you can read what?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you hadn't read it yet.
I have not.
Okay.
Pat, you're it.
This is cool page.
All right, what's up, guys? Driveway application. Ready? Driveway application for Canyon Overdale for residential driveway. No problems with it, everything's cool? Okay.
Did 2-2 last week, and one of your mind up there, 270 north down here, got that finished. Put rock on 270 over Soldier, B&B, and over the county line as a mess with it. In the last snow,
Yeah.
and Richard putting rock down there again, south 126. And I put the rock on either Friday. Fuel tanks, we got that fuel tank and parking space for lawn over Soldier. Got that done, so we get that moving up today. The electrical on the big tank out there, the shop's all done. We just work on the pad.
I see you've been working on that, so.
The hoist strip tanks are up and running.
Oh, good.
We need to buy some steps, because they're pretty tall. So, get some steps up there for them.
Okay.
That's all we did last week. Now this week, I found one of my big tubes under mine, Q4 between 150 and 158. There's a line stretch there, but yeah, it's got some major underlying issues. And it's 12-foot pipe,
Oh, my.
so we'll get that.
What's the answer to that?
I'm gonna try digging out both sides and repacking it in, and if that doesn't work, I'll use slope and fill.
Yeah.
Put that in there, hopefully this will seal it up pretty good.
Okay.
I'm gonna put some more rock on E Road, and we got some more on 270 to over there in Soldier. And Brandon's gonna keep on kind of spread rock this week over there on J Road, some training in. And Richard should have N Road finished. We're mulching out over there on 278 between P and M. And the landowner's not happy with us right now, accusing us of getting into the fence and stuff. How about look at it and see what. Bryson got 2 services this week. Then we started full patching.
Oh, okay.
Try to stay ahead of the game a little bit.
There's a few big blowouts around.
We'll only have 2 days before it cools off, you don't get too cold. All I have is-
First of all, Scott Strockman passed away. His funeral is Friday at 10:30 at the Soldier Christian Church. Of course, we have multiple staff members wanting to take either, some of them a half a day, some of them a full day off. I know typically we don't allow more than half of them to take off. But I feel as long as they have worked with him and built a personal and a professional relationship with them, ask that you guys approve for more than half of the staff to be off. Not everyone is going, you know, Mary and I will still be in there, there's still, you know, a few people that will be working that day, but some of them do want
And what time did you say the funeral was?
10:30
10:30?
at Soldier Christian Church.
How many are gonna take off? How many have put in requests?
Probably about 20 right now.
For full day or half day?
It's
Both,
kinda
yeah.
even.
Yeah,
So even,
yeah.
I honestly have no problem with it. I mean, he worked for the county. They, like I say, they developed relationships with him, his coworkers did. I don't have a problem with it. I would hope that we had more half days that would just attend the funeral and rather than take a full day for a 3-day weekend. I think that would probably be my ask, is that you go through and ask if they would just take the half day rather than the full day,
Okay,
go to the funeral and come back to work.
okay.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm not even sure why half day is, I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, half day I can, but by the time that, you know, get up, get around, shower, clean it up, go to the funeral, and then come back, go to work, that's what my point is. I don't want to start into the, you know, giving them an hour or 2 hours off or whatever. I've just sort of kept it on an even block. That way it's better for timekeeping to me.
okay.
Sounds good.
Linda,
Yeah, I have no problem.
and like I said, my only ask would be to ask that, you know, they restrict it to a half day rather than a full day.
Okay.
Okay?
We can do that. So the dust abatement. I'm not sure what was decided. I have multiple people calling because it's already been in the paper and we don't have a price yet.
Well, we were supposed to get a price or a cost back for how much it cost us to put it down.
Last
Because,
year,
yeah, because.
No, we have a cost on what it's gonna cost us.
we don't have that data. It's gone. I can't run a report until we get everything put in from last year that was lost.
Well, we had talked about, last year it was the $1.40 a foot, 300-foot minimum.
42.
We had $1.40 here.
Yeah, on the old one, I have $1.40 at a 300-foot minimum.
But you had to put down, you paid $1.42, correct?
That's, yeah, I think it was 10 cents higher than what we're paying. I think the cost, hang on.
And we paid, last year we paid $1.33 a gallon. Gallon equals a foot, is what I've got here on these notes.
Yeah, my notes said $1.42 dust control
Okay.
is what the taxpayer would pay if they're wanting to do it for their house.
And there again, I'd go on an even basis and go bump it up to $1.50,
Okay,
because our costs have gone up.
So have we already advertised that in the paper?
we have not given
For
them
no
a price.
cost. I looked at that, there was no cost on the ad.
Yeah, last year it was $1.33, and you guys had bumped it up to $1.40.
Okay.
So
So
we're going
I-
to $1.50 this
For our
year.
increased costs, I'd say go to $1.50, wouldn't you? They're still getting a bargain on it.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Wouldn't you think that'd be a thoughts?
Yeah, I think at this point in time, we just need to pick a number, $1.50 is fine. I would like for Scott to put some numbers together for next year and not be under the gun to try to come up with a price and just pull something out of a hat.
Sure.
that's why I have made this book. So everything, and I mean, I've already started with the 2025, like the bids that we sent out and, working on a list.
Thank you.
Yes,
Good.
so, you know, we're at 300, or 30 miles this year, approximately 153,120 gallons of the wet spray.
But yeah, I'm fine with,
Like I say, I think with the increased cost for, you know, everything's going up with the increased cost for the year, I think bumping it up 10 cents really is still a bargain. If they had somebody come in and try to do it, it's gonna cost them a lot more than that, as we discussed before. I mean, when we were up in Iowa and talked to those folks up there, they were paying a lot more than what they're paying around here, so. I would say go to it, as a general consensus, we go to $1.50 and call it good.
yeah.
Okay,
Perfect, thank you.
yep, that way you have an answer for people.
Yes, and we
Alright.
can start getting those, the applications sent out. We're trying to push for them to have us email them to them or pick them up, rather than put it through the mail, save us all.
So are you sending out through email to all past customers?
Yes,
I think that's a great way to do that.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah, I have a
And
list.
then any new customers that call in, you can say.
Sure, yeah. Yep. And we've had several people call in, and some of them, I believe, are new. got a whole list of extra ones here that I've been sticking in here, so contact information. So
All right,
we've got
perfect.
that. Thank you.
Anybody have anything for them on roads?
I don't think so.
I just had one call.
Run that, run.
I just had one call,
Get up
that's
with the
just a minor thing on 246, right in front of the stop sign before the old highway on the east side of the road. There's a big pothole start right there.
There is, we've talked about
Well,
it, they
you-
know about
you-
it, yeah. When it started.
Yeah, and I don't know why I don't understand why it's doing it, but it seems like it's
Because
getting deeper.
it's running down Fraser's driveway, because their driveway's so steep, it just runs down down their driveway and cuts through that road, and,
But just that one pothole right there in the middle, it just seems like I don't think there's a tube or anything underneath there, so.
Mhm.
But
no,
you're not
it's
gonna
really
take a look
bad.
at that.
I don't know, but it deters the people that go to the lake to slow down just a little
Well,
bit.
yeah, that's true. And I did have, back when they asphalted 254, just east of my house, there's one section there where it's just peeling apart. And they come back and fixed it, and it's still peeling apart. And it doesn't look like the chip and seal underneath is going anywhere, and it doesn't look like the asphalt's breaking apart. It's just a nice straight line, just peeling apart. I don't know why. Because I know they came back and cut some out and put new in, but that's probably gonna turn into a problem if we don't figure out what's going on. So,
And Matt, I think Scott said you had a plan for that big hole down on S Road there by Bob Arrows.
Yeah, we dug it up and we filled it with gravel Friday, so it doesn't work until they chip and seal it this year. Yeah, I believe that's all it is.
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah.
I think
I got one of them, but still.
Great.
We left the windrow rock there, so Jason keep an eye on that, so we'll get you around.
And I appreciate some of the things he's been doing, going around these tubes before it rains, and there were several that were plugged. I saw he did a great job of opening that up. Had that last rain, snow, whatever, had no issues, at least the areas I was driving around. He's doing a good job of working some of the potholes out, calling for a little bit of gravel here and there. That's, people appreciate that in the community, to see those areas straightened up. And it doesn't require blading the whole road, it just means he's fixing some problems, so, seeing some good stuff, so.
I think overall, this winter, that number one, our guys have done a heck of a job getting things out, getting things done, getting the roads clean. And I also think that the work that they have been doing since I came on, I know before, when you guys got it started, going out and working on the roads, and getting them crowned and getting them shaped and everything, I think it's paid off, because in driving around the countryside after the snows and after the rains, they're not near what they were.
Yeah, they didn't fall apart.
Yeah.
Not yet,
And I have to believe some of that has to do with the fact that they're crowned enough that stuff is getting off the road.
And we're cleaning the ditches and getting the water out and getting it away.
There's a
Yeah.
lot more rock on these roads.
Yes. And like I say, I think that I think the county appreciates it. I know I appreciate it for seeing what's going on, and it's a good thing. So
And we
tell
do
them to
get-
keep up the good work.
We do get residents, who call and thank us, and I let Matt know, if they're not typically at the shop on a daily basis, and Matt lets them know,
Yep.
hey, great job.
That's good. Got to keep up the line of communication
Yes.
with the guys out here that are in the front lines. So I do appreciate that.
Thank you.
I don't think
All
I've got
right.
anything else.
All right, thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
Are computers working better?
Yeah, right now, I had a problem with my Ethernet last week, so they don't know if it's if I may need a new, it's working fine today so far. if I need a, new cable, a new Ethernet cable, or if there's something wrong with that,
Router?
no, the docking station.
Did wireless, did Giant come out and check your speeds and see what was going on? Physically out at the site, not just sitting
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, on
And
Friday.
he said everything was good there?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. So you're gonna try what, new Ethernet cable first and then?
Well, I'm gonna try and see how it does, you know, the next couple of days, and well, if it locks up on me again, they're gonna come out and run another test.
Okay.
And see if it's something with that docking station, replace the Ethernet cable, see if it's the docking station.
I'd go first with the Ethernet cable,
Yeah,
and if that
yeah,
don't
mhm,
do it,
yeah,
then
that's
just
what
put the
we're gonna
docking
do.
station on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you have to hook into your docking station, or can you bypass it to see if you have any trouble?
I could run Wi-Fi, but it's extremely slow out there.
You can't hook Ethernet into your laptop?
It is. Oh, no, it's hooked into the docking station. It's not long enough.
My point was that would, if you
If we had to do that.
yeah,
mhm.
get rid of the docking station, just plug
Right.
into the Ethernet.
Yeah, I haven't tried that, but that is something to try,
Would be
absolutely.
to isolate.
Yeah, and we can try that too. Anything that helps. And it's really hard, because Mary and I's computers are different and getting old, so they're not communicating the way that they should.
But the older is it the software?
I think it's just the computers. I know IP Pathway said that at some point, we're gonna need new computers, and that it would be preferable if we did have the same computer, so that they would communicate better with each other.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I don't have anything else.
Nope.
All right, great, thank you guys, have a
Perfect,
good
thank you,
day.
appreciate it. They're not good. I just looked. Have some abatements here we'll take care of.
Do you happen to have any mind what that is? Okay. Walmart, you told me there's one store. If not, we might have some upstairs. Just a matter.
Hey, buddy,
Good morning.
how are you?
Morning. That one hurt, so I know it still has a little bit left. Yeah.
You tested it out.
Hey, that's all the way to test them.
Can we just keep these in?
Yeah.
That's all the way to test them.
Oh, we're on nine.
Hey, look at that, you get a light.
I got lights.
There you did.
That's awesome.
I got lights. All right, perfect. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Good morning. I didn't see you sneak over. I was shutting doors.
Oh, hey. Just give it back to me now.
I'm just gonna throw some trash in the courtyard.
So is this 4,926 to, I pay back what we paid every month? And so why are we paying the Lloyd group? The Lloyd group?
Because he had done a spreadsheet for our 5-year plan.
Oh. Okay. So then that should be it. Okay.
Todd, in reference to this resolution, 17E, and then it says I underneath there. Is that the same as a public cemetery?
Well, I was gonna say the first paragraph is actually what I came into.
This,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
is that the same as public?
Well, I mean, I think in practice, the way it's worded, I do not think there's anything that is probably, I could be, if you said, Todd, they buried somebody there that isn't supposed to be there, and I would probably not be able to enforce it, to say that person should not be there.
So how do we designate in that resolution between public and private? Because the way I read it, especially it's a public.
I mean, the only thing that's probably the governor is, apparently you can't charge anybody for it, which is, I suppose, to feed a profit purpose, but you're right, I mean, essentially, if you wanted to, for whatever reason, just for free, bury people, you could, it would be very difficult for me to go to court and say, that's not allowed.
And so, based on that resolution, if an individual wants one at their property, and they meet the qualifications, they apply for it through zoning and planning, and then zoning and planning and the Register of Deeds will have this on permanent record to know where it's at, correct?
Yep. And I mean, the only limitations being no
Quarter
money, no
acre.
size, yeah, quarter acre size, it's just kind of, maybe somebody who's really serious about it is going to think about the fact that if they do that, then in 5 years they won't be able to bury, Aunt Jane because they've used up all their plots, but.
So what are your concerns?
My concern is that there's nothing designating it as a private, because in I, basically it says,
So could you make copies of that, because I want to see it in front of you.
I
what we're
mean,
looking at.
basically a friendship or any other personal reasons.
Yeah.
So if I like Bob Smith and I could let Bob Smith be buried on my private, my concern is 50 years down the road. These private, if there are multiple private cemeteries, who's going to take care of them? Are they going to come back on the county and want us to take care of them? Where now you have cemetery boards, you have some sort of hierarchy set up to maintain these. I'm just thinking down the road. To me, a private family cemetery plot was for family members only. But the way this reads, anybody can be buried there. Adoption obviously would be family, but friendship or other private reasons. Define what are other private reasons of friendship?
Anything that, like I said, I can't think of a limiting principle that I can defend.
I'm just
personally, I
voicing
would
my
take,
concern.
I would take, I think we've discussed this before, I would take the friendship or other private reasons to be someone who has lived together common law for 20 years, and I think we had talked about that the way that it was written before would exclude that.
Well, common law marriage would be marriage in the eyes of the law.
Correct. Common law would be.
Common law would be, but it's not,
If they specifically did not.
but it's not specifically set out in your common law, so I think that's why they said other private reasons, or same-sex, whatever, you know, living together. I don't think that we can, I don't think that we have the authority, or we probably have the authority, but morally, I don't think it's correct, because we had talked about excluding people who were there. And I'd give you a perfect example in a public cemetery in, the Fairchild Row out there in Colton that has been there ever. My great-great-grandparents had a housekeeper who was with them forever, and she's buried right along beside of them in the family plot. Because that was, I mean, she had no one else there. I know several instances where I could see the private reasons or friendship coming into play on this.
Okay. So what in this resolution protects the county 50 years from now from having to do something? A, remove all of those, and because somebody's bought the land, and remove it, put them into public. Is there any liability back towards the county?
Well,
That's
I
what
would
wanna
say
know.
absent a change in the law, you know, simply the change of ownership, would not change permitted use.
I believe that's already
I mean, that's what-
statutorily taken care of in private cemeteries through the state, I believe.
Well, I just think they can't, like I said, under current statutes, they couldn't just abandon it to the state. I think when somebody buys a property, like if they had a mixed-use property where they had some commercial and some residential on it, that they couldn't just say, well, I don't like the commercial. They can ask for a zoning change, and it can be granted or not, but they buy it like they found it, right? So the people who buy the property have a special use permit for their family cemetery,
But
somebody
even
else's
that-
family cemetery. And that's not our problem.
So what you're saying, if I'm understanding you correctly, is if there's 160 acres and a farmstead, and there's 8 people buried on family plot, and they've gone through this process, when that house, if that house, however many years from now, becomes abandoned, dilapidated, and somebody buys 160 acres, this will be on the deed and has to stay on the deed. Is that correct?
Well, no, it's just that, but you aren't, there's nothing in this that requires the county to take over
Okay.
the cemetery, just said, or whatever it is. You just bought a property with, dead bodies on
Okay.
it. And I don't know what,
No,
well, I mean, I think there's probably,
yeah.
you know, I don't know that that's unprecedented in the world, you know? But, you know, that's part of what you got, right? And maybe, you know, the same as the old shed that's got lead, you know, panels on it. You gotta pay extra to get that taken care of. And maybe you don't, maybe you just leave it, and you mow it, and
Is there anything within that statute that prevents, family member dies at home, they immediately just take them out and bury them?
well, I don't know, actually, I don't.
They have to follow state?
No, if they don't I'm going back a couple months, but as I recall it, if they don't actually transport the body anywhere, then they can bury it right there.
And it has to be buried according to state statute?
According to state law, KSA 65-2438.
And I'm just trying to think of whether you have to, if that, I mean, my memory is telling me that there is no requirement to embalm it, meaning if you're saying
No.
treat the body.
No, burial only.
Yeah, so the only reason that they couldn't is if they died of clinical disease, which is.
Okay, and I read that.
So, yeah, they, as soon as they go to a hospital or ambulance or transported, then that kind of attaches. But absent that, they don't.
Okay. I don't have any other questions, Mark.
Okay. Like I said, I think that, I'm trying to find it here, it's hidden from me right now. But I believe that, because I was at a land auction where there was a private cemetery on 160 acres that was being sold. And before the auction, and this has been 20 years ago, before the auction, the auctioneer stated that per Kansas law, and he had a statute, but I don't know what it was, that this cemetery, when the land transferred, the new owner was responsible for maintaining and fencing and everything
Yeah.
of that cemetery. So,
Yeah,
I can't find it right now, but,
Well, I mean, I think that that's probably the question is that there's lands that are, for one reason or another, that are platted or dedicated, in the original section layout division of the properties, they would have like a school quarter, like one little portion of a quarter section would be for a school, another would be for a cemetery. So that was like an automatic township. And that's what you guys are seeing. You may be seeing those things come back to the county. This is, in my mind, it's on private residence.
Okay.
Yeah.
It can never come back to you other than just by, abatement or taking it, buying it for tax purposes.
and I believe that if they wanted us to take it back over, they would have to petition for us to take it back over. County register. If they wanted us to take it back over, they would have to petition the county to do so. And we don't have to.
Well, I don't know it's kind of a question about what rights does the county have to take. If there was some idea like you were actually going to establish a real cemetery for some reason. Off of that, it's it's an important person who's, done much for the county and is historically important, private burial site, maybe you take it over for that purpose, but I don't know how generally, but I don't think it can be forced. I don't know how you generally do that. So I think the governors on this are only going to be the fact that you can't get any money for it and the size.
Okay.
It just kind of, those can kind of limit, and I'd be kind of nervous too, in the sense that if the property is the burial plot's not near right of way, and whoever is, I'm external to that family, how do I get on there if I want to go to the grave? I don't have any rights to go on there, just because the dead person was a friend or uncle or aunt or anything.
And I've read something on that too, and I believe that there is something that I've read that says that they have to allow access to the cemetery. I'm just saying that.
And I don't think that, I would question whether that's for a private cemetery.
Yeah,
I move we pass resolution 2025-10.
with correction. And down on the bottom, it should say county instead of county. Okay. Okay, so it's properly moved and seconded to, what's the resolution number?
2025-10.
2025-10. It's been properly moved and seconded to adopt resolution 2025-10 dealing with private cemeteries. Any further discussion? With correction. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carried. All right.
Go ahead and sign, and I'm going to keep making copies of first page.
Okay, perfect.
James will.
And I'm going to pass that down to Ron. I think that's for him to deal with.
Powers that be, of course it's
We need to look these over last week. So let's look it over before we approve. Tara said she didn't have.
Well, don't let me thank you.
I know. Yeah, Tara said she didn't have these last week, so. Here's this, we're gonna discuss later on. That's you look over. Do you want to explain this, or do you want Mary to come down and explain this? Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Hey, Barry.
Hello.
I want you to be on this slide.
You wanna come on up?
Speaking correctly.
Go over this with us if you would.
So the left column where I have separate plans,
And for everybody's information, this is about the Travis and Brittany insurance.
Thank you.
so had they stayed in the left column, it says separate plans, that's where I circled what it would cost for employee and then employee and children.
Mm-hmm.
So those add together, and their vision was with VSP, and we've never had any issue with being able to add or remove as needed. So that's how it looked, they had the family plan vision, and then, so it would have cost that, but they'd have these separate plans versus all the things being the family plan rate.
And that would be our cost,
That is our cost.
okay?
So had they kept separate plans, it cost the county the $3,000, as a family the $2,600. The difference is a $424.66 times 11 months would be expensive $4,671.26.
Okay,
And then below that is as it stands now, what we're being billed. The family plan medical, the family plan dental, and then it's employee and children on vision, because I was able to get that, we're removed from vision. So that's what the monthly fee is. Had it been just him and the children, we would allow the 1803, the county would pay, making outstanding balance of $785.98. Of course, with Travis insuring his children, had it be the plan with the children and him, he would have an out-of-pocket expense anyway, no matter what, of around $68.30. So the difference he's seeing is that $617.68. That is an additional cost to him. See where I'm going?
For 11 months.
For 11 months. Because they had the January family coverage, so she was employed in January.
SEHP told them that Murray's already fixed this, but they told them that they wouldn't even be able to take Brittany out during open enrollment,
which I don't understand
which is
that.
not true.
Yeah, I said, I've
Very
never heard that
proper
before.
contact.
I got it in writing and email that no, he can make any changes he needs at open enrollment
Okay,
with no questions asked.
So what they're still struggling with is the additional $617.68 that they're having to pay a month for a visit that they should have had.
Because they won't allow him to take her on.
Correct. Correct.
And legally, there's nothing, Todd, that we can do to go back and say, I just find it un-American that an individual can't make their own choice whether they want to be insured or not insured.
and it's not that she's necessarily not insured because she got a plan.
Doesn't matter,
Yeah.
I'm saying it's my
Election.
choice.
Yeah, the election is no different than if she says, I'm not gonna pay as long as code.
Correct.
That one we got fixed. It's just trying to get her off now, because they're saying they have to have group insurance, which she provided a policy with a group number, but they won't accept it
To who?
to the SEH.
Okay, your guys.
Well, yeah, and Todd, you got that one. That's the one that said short term. I had concerns when I saw the wording of short term.
Well, I mean, I'm going back to the fact that it's still, her, I see the problem is twofold. One being, she signed up for a policy that isn't conforming. You paid for it, and that, and I understand your objections, I'm just saying, for the technical legal mind, that's important, because she, you know, in the end of the day, that's, I could see a position that says, go to that employer and say, you know, cancel me, what do you think? And then she's just on this plan. She doesn't change, right? Why
The
is
problem
that?
is, this plan's so expensive, they
Right.
don't want to be on this.
They don't want to be on this
Well,
one.
the reason it's expensive is because it's a conforming plan. But yeah, but I can't, I mean, the issue is that they would, despite the fact she's claiming she's not gonna be insured, they're assuming for that purpose that she'll either be on the marketplace, or if she is suitably harmed in an accident or, gets a disease, it should be on the public trust because she couldn't afford service, and she could force them to care for her under federal law. Basically, if you are uninsured and you go into a place, you have to be careful, like emergency room or something like that. It's federal law. So their angle then is ultimately that if you don't have your own private claim, you'll end up incurring medical expenses on you as an expense that would be paid or dealt with by governments anyway.
Well, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the fact that she went out and purchased another policy, and now what our insurance company's saying, well, that's not good enough, which, what do they got to say? I don't understand why it's their business if she purchased another policy. That's where I'm at.
Because they are treating, because it's a non-conforming, the law says that is the equivalent of no coverage.
But that would be, wouldn't that be when they try to file their income tax and you don't have a piece of paper that says that, then she's gonna get charged there. But I don't.
No, they don't anymore.
That was the initial intent, was that would be a penalty for the person, right? That doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Now all that exists is the fact that they can, I suppose, deny, in this instance, deny, a change in the rate because, again, they're going to assume that she's covered until she's actually not, or she gets replaced with group coverage. And I don't know that. I'm not going to sit here and say I went to the nth degree about what they're telling us about, well, Greg say this, because at a certain point I don't represent them, neither can I tell them what to do. To say,
Sure.
you don't know your the law is this, and so, I removed a couple of steps there where I would look through the entirety of the federal law, on health insurance and try to figure out a way around what it obviously seems like that it makes its own perverse logic. Perverse maybe stronger, but if your aim is to get everybody on an insurance policy, if that's your only job in your life is to get everybody on an insurance policy, this is exactly the way you do it. In a semi-free market. So, if you can divorce yourself from your own, desire to just academically do it, this is how you do it, right? And so you know the motivation of why they're doing it this way and why it seems torturous, is because this is exactly what they're trying to do, which is keep people on full coverage plans. And not only is the federal government very much in favor of this, your insurer is very much in favor of this.
There again, I come back to the fact that why is it our insurer's business if she has already purchased another plan and it's not as good and in their opinion, that's where I'm coming back to. Why is it any of their business?
Well, they would say, well, that's okay. It's not really any of our business is what we're saying. We have to comply with the law. She has to pay it. That's it. If you want to buy a third car, you can do it. If you want to buy an extra insurance policy, go right ahead. Even if it duplicates what we provide. But, at the end of the day, they have to, if they have a regulation that says, before you cancel this person, they have to do X, Y, Z, that's all they have to look at.
That's strange
Well,
to me, but okay.
It's all very strange. in the sense that I know what you're talking about. And if there was a way, I knew around it, I would be the first one to suggest it. The only thing I could come up with was what I said, which is cancel the policy she purchased from State
Farm Bureau.
Farm
Farm
Bureau.
Bureau or whatever. And I would guess the reason it's much cheaper is because it's not.
I suppose say, him resigning and then being rehired the next day.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, so, I'm not, so the purpose of the information is what for today?
So, okay, so in my mind, you know, Travis worked for the county, and then Brittany came to work for the county, so each one, their benefit is that the county pays for the employee's insurance, all right? So Travis had himself and the 2 children on his policy, okay? Brittany would have been on a policy by herself.
No, if I could have, I would have added her to the family policy. I could not because she didn't have a loss of coverage because she had an independent insurance then. And they said, that's not loss of coverage. She just chose not to renew her policy. So I had to give her a separate policy. I didn't have a choice, or I would have added her to his and made it a family policy at that time.
So after the first of the year,
At the first of the year was when open enrollment, I could then get them together with no question from SEHP without them telling me I couldn't do it.
SCHP is,
It's yes. State health insurance, state employee health. They're the gatekeeper of our policies.
So we're kind of taking away their benefit and charging them extra money.
we're not, it was a choice they made. Right?
Yes and no.
Okay, help me understand how it wasn't a choice they made.
Because if she would have been on that single policy by herself, she could have canceled it, been fine to go wherever she wanted to be, and he could have had himself and the kids, but now they won't allow it. We didn't keep her on it.
Who made the choice to go to the family plan?
we put
We did.
all of them on one family plan because it saves the county.
Saves the county money in the long
It
run.
saves the county money. It's really nobody's
It's nobody's fault, but it's
fault, but it's how it works out at this
Situation.
point.
But I would make the assumption the county would never have separate policies if it's at an extra expense.
Yeah, because it's like an extra 45. to
Well, that's
50,000.
11 months, it's 4,000, so it's about $5,000 extra
You
expense.
pay, let me make this straight, you pay the full amount of a family plan?
If
Yeah.
both employees are employed by the county,
Okay.
because the expense is actually cheaper
It's cheaper.
than having them
You want
separate.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you don't have it that there's just an amount that you guys, like, if, okay, so, yeah.
Not for if both
So
spouses
if
work for
one
the county.
spouse, one person is employed by the county, they
There's
can
a
have their
seven.
kids, but they can't have the spouse.
Well, they can, but it's
Without
an added
extra
expense.
Yeah.
Correct, correct.
So now it's forcing them to be on that family plan and spend an extra, what, $600 and some that they wouldn't have if she'd have been on a single plan and was able to walk away from.
Okay, so what's the ask?
I don't know, I think somehow we should reimburse them just this year.
What happens next year?
Well, then,
Well, they go to the just employee and child plan, in which he pays the portion he would be.
And that could be done at open enrollment.
yes, yes, and she has that in writing.
But I thought they said that the federal plan, the federal law says you can't do that.
Open enrollment's different. They can't question us,
Yeah.
right? But they cannot question us at that time why they're making, that is your right at that time to decide your family
By
needs.
federal government.
Is how I would explain open enrollment.
No, explain that to me, Todd.
Okay, with your,
No, that, I'm not doing that.
Well, actually, it's in our admin contract.
Yeah,
At that time, you can remove spouse,
I-
children, add with no questions.
one thing, if this happens again, how many times would this happen as of right now?
Well, we only have 4 where it's couples, but it can still happen to an employee that has their spouse on and has a job change and they want to do something different and they want them off. They could get hit with this same thing. To me, that's not, it's a different situation,
The-
somewhat as far as the loss factor.
But the proviso there is they go to, if they go to a separate plan that is conforming, they would rubber stamp.
Then they're fine.
Yes, yes, so I'm not saying we're gonna run into this every time. And
So what will they do during open enrollment? We'll drop her off of it, and then she's gonna have to get,
it's not our business, I don't care.
Nobody cares.
no, I know,
Yeah.
I know we don't care, but what will the government, I mean, she
I
doesn't
don't-
have to have insurance then at that
Well,
point?
she has the, no, yeah, they don't necessarily care because she's not, I don't know.
Mhm.
Open
The-
enrollment's a whole
Well,
different
they
thing.
can't enforce an employer to keep coverage on an employee that's no longer here.
Yeah. They
So I
can't
mean,
really-
their hands are tied on that, there's nothing they can
And the
do.
thing that forced the individual to get it was the thing, was an individual mandate that was gone.
And
So-
if we don't pay it, and we say she's no longer here,
And she's really no longer here, then
and if we don't pay the family plan.
But we don't have a choice about that.
Right, but what will they do? What are the consequences? Do
Well, I
we know?
can't not pay it.
Because,
It's billed with everyone else, it's a massive bill, I can't lessen that burden
yeah. Would be
and
not-
say it's them, and say it's
Maybe
because of
a
this
lawsuit
policy,
of some
you know what I
sort.
mean? I can't specify I'm doing it because of them. Yeah.
I was trying to get to the point where it would end up in a lawsuit of some sort.
Yeah, because they would cancel.
Yeah, we'd put everyone,
Levy
We
and,
put everybody in the.
we'd put everyone at risk if I don't pay that in full.
Just trying to play that out.
Right.
they would,
So then, what do you want to do?
What's he asked?
I just feel like I'm being penalized for something they keep it out.
I think every month, we should pay the difference of the $617.68.
61768,
Of the family policy.
and it'll be 11 months?
Yeah, because they had the family coverage in January because she was
still here in
employed.
January.
So it's just February through December we're talking about. Because then
Travis will still
February she was no
bill.
longer an employee.
In December's the open enrollment.
Yeah, October we'll do open enrollment, it will start January
if
1st.
it's paid to him, it's taxable. Taxable income, remember that.
Do what?
Taxable is income. So he has to
Only-
be more than information.
I guess the only way I would be willing to do that is if I have something in writing from her that says, and him, both, saying that they will do that, because if they don't drop off,
Oh, yeah, well, we can force that, I have access to that.
you can do that. So you can prevent that.
I do that, I go into SEHP and I do all their enrollments.
And you would eliminate her off no matter what.
Okay.
Okay. I'm willing to do that.
Where you wanna pull it?
Have we talked about where the money would come
So
from?
we have like an employee benefit line item.
We have what?
What are we gonna fill out in?
Is there enough money in there to cover something like this? Okay.
Well, let's look at that first before we make any decisions.
Okay.
I'm willing.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
Good.
We're trying.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ray, appreciate it.
No problem.
It's actually called a face fit machine or a fit test machine.
The fit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where's that?
fitting around the
Fit
face.
test.
So was it called a face fit?
No, it's just fit test.
It needs to be changed, okay, yeah. It sounded funny. did say in the, Scott Keyfarber said in the LAPC meeting that they have an employee down there that has to be fit tested every year. He usually goes to, what, Lenexa. So,
So that would save us some money
yeah.
there. That's a color copy. That's a color copy.
It was made on my machine upstairs, thank you very much.
All right.
But I can make more down there.
No. We don't want the 10,000.
Do the minutes now, is that what?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Okay. Christie, on the March 3rd minutes, second page, first paragraph, says Chairman Pruett asked Todd what the responsibility of the county would be if they closed a road. I'd like that road identified. I believe we were talking about C and 110, between 110 and 118.
Yep.
Just so, because if you read it quick, we're talking within the first, next sentence above that, 110K. I don't want people to go, oh my God, they're closing K. So, in reference to minimum maintenance road between 110 and 118, C. Charles.
Yeah, down in the second paragraph, take out this, in the second line, it says face fit. It should be fit test.
Mark, is the 1015 part of the zoning planning application?
Not here yet. Oh, David Anderson?
Yes,
Hello, sir, how are you?
super.
Want to come on up? Didn't see you pop in.
Got my man bag in case I need to take notes.
How are you?
All right. Wary.
You have the application.
We have an application here. You got a copy? And do you still have your questions?
I have a set of questions.
The ones we have been, some,
I don't have the last ones we did. I have a different set, but we can use the other ones if you want to.
I did, if you got something written up you want to use, I just thought we just get a
That's
copy of this and maybe everybody some.
That'd be fine.
Ready for some more snow next week?
You say no.
It's been crazy.
It has been.
Yeah. The old timers used to say, oh, we used to get snow all the time. We don't anymore. Now I'm the old timer that's saying, hey, we never got snow
We
like
need to
that.
stop this snow right now.
But my creek's running.
That's a good thing.
It's kind of replenished some groundwater.
Ponds are gut full, so.
Very good thing. Which railroad do you work for?
BNSF,
Down shops?
yeah.
Yep. How long were you down there?
But 30 years in one day. That's all it
13
takes.
years in one day?
30 years.
30 years in one day,
in one
okay.
day.
When you,
The day I could retire,
when
I
did you start, when did
retired.
you start down there?
93.
93, okay.
Yeah, very cool.
That was after, okay, that was after I was down there, so.
Yeah, it's a big place.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I got to work in a lot of different facilities and just helps keep the sanity.
I understand.
Met a lot of people, had a lot of fun, had a lot of, dodged a lot of bullets.
Yeah. All right,
That's
well,
why
we'll go
we're
ahead and
in
get
hearing
started,
aids.
David. Yeah, hearing aid, yeah, I understand that. I have a little trouble myself. Haven't bit the bullet and got it yet, but I will.
Just double checking, Christie, when we did these interviews prior, did we use executive session?
No, I think.
I'm thinking, oh, no, I was thinking of the other, yeah, the other ones that we did. My bad. Thank you.
No,
I
you're
just
good.
wanted-
You're good.
Wanted to double check.
Well, we just got, some questions and we don't have to give them any order. We don't even use all of them. We try to do the same thing for every applicant so that we keep going that way. So we'll mark off what we do use. But can you tell me what your understanding of the role of the planning commission is, the planning board is?
That's a good question. I really don't know for sure. I think it's to oversee, make regulations for code, and have a public board, and maybe change that. And I think that part of the trouble right now is we're creating new ones and having difficulty getting through that.
Oh, we are creating solar regulations right now, yes.
Yeah. And
And as far as getting through it, we're not really having trouble getting through them. This board, Linda came on, but we had already passed them over to the planning commission. This board had created a set of regulations, gone through.
Template.
Yeah, template, thank you. Template of regulations to send to the planning committee. And the reason we took on that role first, to kind of a extra set of eyes on it, and it saves the county a lot of money as far as every time that we went over the regulations, our county counselor's here and goes over them with us and so on and so forth. And if he would have come in and done it with the planning commission right off the bat, then that would have cost the county a lot of money, him a lot of time, and the planning commission a lot of time too, trying to set up the regulations, because we took over 2 years to do it, so.
right, that kind of explains something that I was like, well, okay.
So, but
Yep.
if you don't mind,
Nope.
I'm going to read, I've got a question here. How do you envision the future of our community with the role, and what role do you see zoning and planning playing in that vision? So, one of the issues that came up several months ago, not an issue, but one of the things that has been brought to this board is that there's areas of this county that want to have less restriction on building, meaning 3 acres or more, with 250 foot of road frontage, because in certain areas, more people are migrating out of Topeka, wanting that smaller community life. So with that being in mind, how do you see the role of zoning and planning in this community?
That's a good question. I think it really involves what the road is. And can it support the more people? You said 3 acres. I thought the current regulation was.
It is.
Is it?
It is 20.
Anyway, yeah, I could see making that smaller. You don't want to inhibit. You don't want to inhibit the progress.
Yeah.
But you also want to try to keep that. That's one of the things I moved out in the country, which
Sure.
enjoy the not listening to the
The
neighbors.
rural life.
You know, yeah, having your peace and quiet.
Yeah.
A little too much. And that.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's what I was looking for, is just your thoughts on it.
Right, yeah, hey, I've grown up. My whole career has been progress. When I went to tech school, it was a big deal that we put computers together and pass data between them.
Right.
The internet didn't exist and computers didn't exist. I've got a computer in my pocket that's 10 times the computer that we had back in
Today.
40 years, 45 years ago. And so it has been crazy and times change and codes need to be updated.
Yeah. Very good.
Linda?
Oh, you two go ahead.
Oh, you got something on there you gotta ask. Okay, I'll ask you one right now. Would you be willing to sign a code of conduct, code of ethics form?
A code of conduct over what?
A code of conduct / code of ethics form,
Oh, yes.
okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that. Give me an experience. Have you ever sat on any boards before? I think you
Just our union board, I thought that I could throw that in, that yes, I've got experience going
Yeah.
through meetings.
And I read.
keeping the men, boys in line,
Yeah.
or everybody
So-
gets their turn.
Tell me how you've, an experience that you've had where you had to collaborate with others and how that process worked out. Were you flexible? Were you, nope, this is the way it's gotta be, those types of things? How did that work?
Well, I think that goes with time. As I've gotten older, I've gotten a little more flexible, but yeah, there's times when see, this is out of my realm. I'm the technical guy.
Sure.
And there's black and white right here. This is, you gotta fall into this.
Right.
And so it depends on the issue or how important the black and white line is.
Okay.
How long have you lived in our county?
33 years or 35 years? Yeah, it kind of corresponds with my wife is from Kansas. And I was in town for Christmas vacation and found out the railroad was hiring. And the wife got me that job.
There you go. There you go. Let's see.
You don't mind?
No, go ahead.
So, one of the objectives of being on any board, like a board like zoning and planning, if a particular issue came up, and I'm going to use, just hypothetically, I'm going to use venues, wedding venues. If somebody came before the county zoning and planning and said, I want to build a wedding venue here in Jackson County, but there's already 13 wedding venues built, and you go, boy, this is the dumbest thing ever. I can't believe somebody wanted to build another. We're oversaturated with that. Would you be willing to set aside your personal bias to make a judgment on whether the individual is meeting the current regulation, whether the individual has got a business plan, those types of things, whatever is required, even though you think it's the dumbest idea in the world?
That's funny, you should say that.
I'm just using that as an example. That's not-
Whatever their tax plan is kind of their business, as long as they're not impeding the neighbors and, you know,
Kind of back to that, tax planning is a big thing, and some of that.
like I said, as long as it's on your time and your property and you're not causing undue hardship for the county and your neighbors.
But if you personally disagree with it, you can put your personal preference aside.
I think so.
Okay, perfect.
What geographic area of the county do you live in? Geographic area of the
Where do you
county?
live?
Oh,
Where
I'm
do
up
you
in
live?
Jefferson Township. I'm the last house on my road before you get to Nemaha County.
Okay, so over towards Soldier area?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, I'm right in between Soldier and Circle.
Okay.
Cool.
And would you be able to commit to attending meetings the second Thursday of each month?
Once a month?
The second Thursday of each month, or as needed?
Right, you know, when I applied for this, I was like, hey, I've got time. I can help out the county and my neighbors and do more than work on cars. That's pretty good. Although I am a little scared about some of the little intimate details like that. But, you know,
3 acres in the road frontage. And,
Right, but I think
like,
you have the ability, if you can learn about computers, you can read, you can
Right.
understand, interpret.
right, that's what I've done. My career is in the electronic side, documented reading. And I have a library of manuals. And so I could take the approach of business to this job.
I don't
So,
have any more questions.
I just have one, so you kind of, jumping in right in the middle here, you would be kind of thrown to the wolves trying to come up to speed on the solar. You have any qualms about that?
No, in fact, that's kind of, I was at the solar meeting and that was a terrible, it's shocking some of the things I heard and people being angry about it. I don't understand. I think there's a lot of misconceptions. And I don't see why solar, my personal thing is, I don't see why solar can't integrate with rangeland and cropland and farmlands. I don't know what everybody's upset about.
So you think you could bring yourself up to speed on the regulations pretty quick?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The proposed regulations?
Yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there. But yes, I've been watching that. As the electronics guy, it's killing me. You're not killing me. I'm always interested in what's going on. And I priced doing my own solar panel systems years ago, and it was battery technology and electronics just wasn't there. It was more too expensive. Now it's cheap even on my side.
Sure.
And so I'm excited to be part of progress too. So I should throw that out there. I think there's a lot of misconceptions, and the internet has been a boon, but it's been a burden for spreading untrue stuff.
Right.
I said it.
Okay.
I
Is there
wouldn't
anything else?
put that, just some of the things I heard.
Sure.
No, I have no more questions.
Nope, I don't believe I do either, Linda.
Nope.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
David, thank you very much for coming, I appreciate that, yeah.
Thank you. We'll see you guys another time.
All right,
All right,
thank you, sir.
thanks. You want to let him know when decision or whatever?
Yeah, we'll probably make a decision today, and we'll have Kate, Kate, the one who notifies. Okay, we'll have Kate notify you, and
I appreciate it.
we'll have her notify you one way or another, okay?
Thanks for
All right,
taking the
thank you
time.
very
to
much,
come in.
David, appreciate it.
Welcome.
And this is Chris Gordon back here. Is
I'm getting ready to check.
Thank you.
And you guys understood that one of our almost hires passed away, was it Monday? We had a gentleman hired for Road and Bridge, and he was just waiting on his drug test and his background check to come back for a driver. And he was filled up by Sioux City, Iowa. He was a hotshot driver. Yeah. But he was, we had him almost there. Yeah, somebody ran a stop sign and hit him, and then they were uninjured and killed him, so. What's up, buddy?
Guess I can't ask a question, can
Do what?
I? I said, I guess I can't ask a question, really. You guys are getting ready for a meeting?
We're in session right now. Chris, we're running a little ahead of schedule. You want to come up?
Sure.
All right.
How are you?
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Another Monday, right?
Another Monday. Well, as you know, we're trying to interview for positions for the planning commission. You had filled out an app, but before that, you kind of expressed an interest in jumping in and serving. I do appreciate that. We're always looking for good people to help out the county. So I'll just jump in and start out asking you questions. What's your understanding of the role of the planning board?
I worked for Will Coakley for several years, and I believe he was on the planning and zoning for a number of years. We kind of talked about a few different things. I didn't realize that all that happened behind the scenes, but it kind of made sense listening to him. He had a different idea of what ground was good for and what people used it for, and other people had a different idea. But kind of got me started years ago, kind of learning that it does make sense to kind of limit what people can do and kind of decide what it could turn into. I think it's a good idea to kind of have a group of people from different areas look and make sure that it kind of makes sense for everybody. I kind of learned a lot from him. I know he became not a very active member towards the end of his term, but he had a lot of stuff with his business blowing up too.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
I didn't realize there was that many questions on the application when I filled it out, so my answers were pretty short.
Yeah, they're pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
First, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, I guess. What area you live in, your rule.
Okay, I live 1.5 miles east of Delia. My wife and I bought a house over there 17 years ago, I believe now.
Okay.
My wife and I, we bought a lot of abandoned houses and fixed them up, turned them, and this one we decided we didn't want to turn. I grew up north of Delia. We moved in first grade back in the early 80s. We grew up 7 miles north of Delia. Again, Mom and Dad found abandoned houses, fixed them up, moved in.
Cool.
I left for 8 years in the military, and then moved to Arizona for about a year, tried to move to Alaska, decided that Kansas was better, and moved back to Kansas, and then ended up coming back to Delia as soon as we found a house.
Good. And you served on the Delia Fire Department for?
I've been with Delia Fire since 2006. I started on the fire board. Our bylaws were written as you were going to leave the board, you found your replacement, brought him to the next meeting, and then you could usually leave. Joe Root was the treasurer for Delia Fire. I'd done a lot of remodel work for him. He asked me to show up. I did. Joe and Cecil and Dean, Charlie, they did not like me because I was a kid back then and young. They said I talked too much, but eventually, after a couple meetings, they allowed me to come back to the meetings, and then eventually I was able to be on the fire department, and that's where I really wanted to be. And I've been there since.
So I guess my question, you talked about being on the fire board. Those are pretty easy meetings. Everything goes smooth every time, right?
No, we've
So
had some long ones.
Yeah, and I got it. So how do you approach making decisions when there are multiple perspectives and potential outcomes? How do you approach it?
That's one thing I pride myself in, is I think outside the box a lot. I try to lay opinions and feelings to the side.
Okay.
I try to stay with facts. I try to stay with history. And every group that I've ever been put into, I'm disliked in the very beginning. And within a very reasonable short amount of time, I actually get along good because I don't split the group. I do a better job of pulling the group together. It's okay for you to have an opinion, you to have an opinion, but as a group, we have to have one. And I've been stuck in that situation with every job, every volunteer situation, and I've always come out really good getting everybody to get along. So I personally like to listen to both sides and then look at the facts and look at the history. And which one really needs to weigh the most. Opinions and feelings should not weigh in they really shouldn't. I don't think that opinions and feelings are really what people need to base their decisions on. I've never been that kind.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to sign a code of conduct, code of ethics form?
Absolutely, I've done it before.
Are you able to commit to attending meetings the second Thursday of each month or as needed? Because right now they're having more meetings with work sessions and things like this, so.
I spend probably about 30 hours a week or 30 hours a month in volunteer meetings, so another couple meetings won't hurt much.
Okay.
I think you were in here when I asked the question. I gave a hypothetical or scenario with the wedding venues. And so if you were sitting on a board and the zoning and planning board, and here comes number 14 before you, and you go, really? This makes no sense. Personally, you just completely disagree with it. How would you approach that?
I might have some questions like, hey, are you guys thinking of this? Hey, did you guys see that? Hey, do we want to maybe take a chance on something not failing or not making it? But if the group agrees, the group thinks this guy may be better than the last three, I'm open to anything and everything that makes sense. I am a loud person, but I'm not opinionated. I'd really go with facts. And I'm willing to change my ideas all the time. I have to all the time with fire departments.
Okay.
Okay. You've already told us about an experience you had collaborating with the board with the Dealey Fire Board. That's good. How long, and you've already told us how long you've lived in the county and where you live. I don't think I've got any more questions.
What do you,
Yeah, go right ahead.
okay. What do you see, kind of big picture for our county? I also brought up the fact that, I think it was a year ago, several months ago, whatever, we had talked about there are areas within the county that would like to see more housing, because there are people who want to move to this county, especially the southern third of the county, along the 75 corridor. They want to work in Topeka, and they want to live in Jackson County. Have plenty of water, great schools, those types of things. So across the Shawnee County, well, in the Shawnee County, they have 3 acres, 250 foot minimum. Do you see this county having the ability to grow by figuring out a way to create an easier path for home ownership through smaller acreages? How would you deal with a situation like that?
Can you separate it from like your subdivision guys? Or
That's just it. I mean, maybe I'm getting too close into the weeds, but do you see the possibility of trying to do that in this county, or other things that you would see, want to see this county grow?
I like growth. Growth is a good thing. I like new people. I like the rule with acreage. That's what I like. I mean, we only have 5.
Right.
But I've managed to use my 5 to grow a lot of garden and a lot of food. I think the smaller acreage, I'd be open to listen to what other people think and feel, but I kind of like it being bigger blocks. I would be okay with smaller blocks if people had a good reason. But I think watching what some of the other counties have done and stack the houses on top of and build the subdivisions in places that are kind of tough to provide emergency services for transportation or stuff like that, it is kind of tough. But my personal opinion, I like the bigger acreage, but I'm open to suggestions and then I'll only listen.
Sure. Okay.
I'm not black and white on anything. I really like to listen to what other people say.
Sure.
If they have a good argument, I'm willing to listen.
To me, that's the best way to be able to listen, come up with your own decision, so.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't have any other questions.
Linda? You're out of the hot seat.
That's it.
Wasn't that easy?
A couple minutes.
Do you have any questions of us?
Not really. I seen you guys posted that you're looking for some people, to spread out the county a little bit. I do a lot for our area, and I know that it's been a long time since we've had anybody in our area come up and volunteer for any parts up here.
Sure.
It is a little drive, but if you don't have anybody up here, you don't have any friends to drag anybody up. I may not be the best person all the time for everything, but I know a lot of people, and if I learn a little, I can spread the word and maybe get some other people interested in participating in some stuff up here a little more, if it's possible.
Yeah.
Participation is a good thing, that's what we need.
Yeah, volunteers are hard to find.
They are.
I appreciate you. You volunteer a lot.
I do.
Sat many meetings with you.
Yes. And you guys all kind of know who I am and what I do. mean, I am kind of square, but I do participate a lot, and I'm not scared of anything. So,
All right, sounds good. We do appreciate you. Thank you.
thank you. That's it, that's all?
That's it.
I don't have anything else.
I thought with the application there'd be a lot better questions.
It really, it's a job where if you show up informed, read the material, that's what we're looking
Yeah. And you get a group of good opinions instead of a whole bunch of bad opinions.
Right.
I think it helps. My biggest reason for filling it out is I just want to, with the solar stuff going on, I want to get some input on what we need for the emergency services.
Yep, sure.
On this road. So that's the biggest reason I filled out the application. So,
Yep.
if I get a chance, then that'd be awesome.
for. Okay,
Sounds good.
thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yes, you guys have a good day.
Bye, take care.
Jason, how are you?
Good, good. How are you
We're
doing?
running a little early. You want to jump up?
Sure,
All right. We walked in just in time.
All right, it's good. So what timing, I guess?
There you go. How are you doing?
Good.
All right. Well, you filled out an application for the planning board, and we
Yeah.
appreciate that. So, what we do is we've got just a set of questions we try to ask to all the applicants. So,
Okay.
why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself first, and we'll get started.
Well, I've lived in the county since like the 90s. Raised kids here. Came up through the electrical trade. Now I do contracts, negotiations. I've done a lot with drawings, developmental concept ideas for construction, green utilities in general. Dealt with civil quite a bit, so I figured if I can provide value, as a volunteer, then figured maybe that's be a good fit.
Okay. So we'll just start off here. What is your understanding of the role of the planning board?
Well, I understand that it's to keep a comprehensive plan, but you guys already have a plan, which I've been reading through, about halfway through it. But it's taking the, you guys provide zoning, different planning things, and I think that it's approved or sent back to you guys for more, or and it's also a long-term, taking, stock of next 20-year plan and try to modify that plan and implement it and take that into account when recommending things or evaluating things.
Okay, so you mentioned comprehensive plan. I'll just kind of elaborate on that a little bit, or roll on with that. The comprehensive plan is, it's a plan. It's not set in stone. It's ever fluid. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
For sure.
Are you a member of any organizations that may influence your decisions?
No. I used to be part of the Holton Ball Association when the kids were little, but really, and then I have some national membership stuff that I'm part of with the company, but that really has to do with
Professional organization?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you see the most pressing issues facing our community in terms of land use and development, and how would, from your approach, would you address those? So across the county, you've got southern third of the county that's a little more populated. People who work in Topeka want to live in Jackson County, but you get up north of Mayetta, Holton, especially up north of Holton, probably people who want to be a little more rural, that type of thing, both east and west. How would you approach that?
Well, I think that there's specific challenges with, the rural side of things, with new technologies, and specifically with solar, that's a balancing act, right, of the agriculture, the farm, and then you also have that which is new, which has never really been a thing until maybe And then you have the, the urban side where it'd be Holton in towns and the fringes and the costs associated with the infrastructure and all that stuff. So obviously it's a farming community. I grew up in northern Iowa. My uncles are still farmers up there, so I know that there's big value in maintaining, that agriculture use. And that's the majority of what Jackson County is. So it's like that balancing act, I mean, it's about growth in strategic areas, what's best for the outturn of the county in general, which is mostly agriculture, right? So, thank you.
If you were selected for this position, are you able to commit to attending meetings the second Thursday of each month or as needed? And right now, they are meeting a lot more than that in work sessions, simply due to the solar regulations that they're going over.
Yeah, it's usually during the evenings, right?
Yes.
Yes, I commit to meet as needed during the evenings today.
Would you be willing to sign a code of conduct, code of ethics form?
Of course.
So were you a member of the board for the rec association or just part of the rec association as a parent?
Just, yeah, as a coach, I coached.
You sat on any boards currently?
No.
No, okay.
No.
So just describe a time when you had to work with a group to reach a consensus, especially when opinions conflicted.
Yeah.
And how did you approach the situation?
Well, my experience would be probably within the company I work for.
Sure.
Trying to build new methods and procedures for maybe project life cycle and stuff like that. How do we approach this? What software needs to be implemented? Usually, I have the most luck by just sitting back and listening, listening and responding and trying to make sure I understand what was being said, and then taking that as more of a group approach after that. So we have buy-in. So that's the best luck that I've found, is to listen and make sure that everybody understands what everybody's saying before try to. Because a lot of times, reasons why things don't get done because somebody doesn't understand what the other person said, and you can do that sitting next to somebody. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, you get that. No wrong answer.
Yeah, there are no wrong answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just getting to know you.
Yeah. So, sorry, I'm a little nervous.
That's okay.
Never really tried to do this before, so.
You're good.
Yeah.
I got a question. If you were selected to serve on this board, you're going to be kind of jumping right into the middle with the proposed solar regs that they have in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to have trouble trying to get yourself up to speed with what's going on?
I'll do the best I can.
Sure.
So that I do have some experience in that space. So as a builder, I've built them before. So I have that perception, not from any other place, but as a builder. So I feel like I understand maybe a little bit more than what the average person would coming in.
Good.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing from our perspective for a potential board member is somebody who is willing to come to the meeting informed, up to speed, and ready to tackle whatever project is ahead of them, being ready to go, makes those boards just flow so much better.
Yes.
But if you've got to sit there and read through the information, and it just makes it hard. So you're willing to be an informed board member.
I am, and I guess my question is, besides the plan, what else can I do to get up to speed?
So if you were put on that board, Kate Emmonshew has a book that has our zoning current regulations, and I'm sure she would provide you with one, so
Okay.
that you would have the ability to, yeah, he's got a copy of it right there.
Okay.
Memorize it, no big deal.
Yeah, there'd be a test.
Yeah,
Now,
okay.
but familiarize yourself with it so that you understand. Are you familiar with the MUTCD? It's Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. It's about that thick. You don't have to know everything, but you need to know how to find stuff.
Okay.
So that, I guess that would be my example of using that. And just, and Kate does a good job of informing the board members. She knows that book front to back.
Okay.
She's always available if you have questions, but she does a good job of sending the information out ahead of time.
Okay.
And you, with your tech background and everything, dealing with different manuals, different procedures, different that,
Yes.
you don't have to have it all up here, you just have to know where to find it.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing right there.
Yeah. I've had to deal with a lot of that within the National Electric Code.
There you go.
Same thing. Yeah. Well, I have no other questions, Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
I don't believe I do either.
Yeah.
We'll make a decision later today, and we'll have Kate inform you one way or the other.
Okay,
So,
cool.
I like to inform people one way or another, you know, they're selected or not. I'd rather
Yeah,
just
sure.
let it go and
Yeah.
you sitting up there wondering. So we'll let you know later today, probably.
I appreciate the fact that you're willing to volunteer, finding volunteers in the community for, whether it's a water board or a ball association board, is hard. People have busy lives, and so
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you're willing to, so you can name on here,
Cool.
apply.
Thanks, Jason.
All right.
Good
Thank
seeing you again.
Yep. Have a good day.
Yep, you did.
Steve, you're here. You want to jump up?
That'd be fine with me.
I guess, Mr. Chairman, this process of interviewing, I'm not sure why we would interview somebody that we've removed from this board.
I made the decision to interview him because I'm not going to turn anybody away that needs interviewed. So that's,
Very
so
good.
jump on up.
Very good.
Thank you very much. Since you served on the board, I'm not going to ask you about your understanding of the planning board, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been a professional surveyor now for almost 40 years. As it said in my application, I served on the Silver Lake Planning Commission for 10 years and chaired, I believe, 4. I was also a co-director of the Silver Lake Ball Association for 5 years while I lived there. I've been a resident of the county now in July, it'll be 16 years. Lived just outside of Denison, right on K-16 highway, or 198 road. I decided to use my professional expertise since I've represented clients in front of planning and zoning commissions for zoning changes and different things, and my experience of being a previous planning board. I served on this one for 5 years. Let's see, is that right? 20, 21, almost 5, 4.5. Anyway, I thought I brought a lot of expertise to the board from my professional experience. Unfortunately, I was removed from that position. We all know the facts. I still feel I can fulfill my duties. In that 5 years I served on this board, I only missed 2, maybe 3 meetings, and I served on both the zoning and the appeals board. So I have excellent attendance. And since I've been removed, I've missed one of the meetings, which I believe was the second work session of the Planning Commission. And I'm really impressed with their procedure and the progress, and the fact that the meetings have been totally controlled. You know, the public's been very disciplined, understanding the process. And I made it a matter of record that
According to statute, the Board of County Commissioners have the right to start the process at this level and pass it on just as you've done. I agree with that process and what you elected to do. I think the misunderstanding of my incident was tragic on both our sides. I don't know what the solution can be, but I just offer myself to continue my services completely unbiased and move forward with the development of the county. I've always proclaimed I'm all for economic development, but you also have to weigh the economic development with the individual rights of citizens. And you asked Commissioner Kelly on the fact of the 14th venue for a wedding venue. We had that come up before our board, and we approved it. But more particular, the one thing I noticed in the past that I've been involved with was when the dog kennel closed down on Q Road, just south of 198th Street, it put everybody in a tizzy. Because Banner Creek was starting to cut back on the services, and people really were looking for an alternative. And I believe that was in 23. And during that year, I bet we had 8 different requests for dog kennels. And the reason I remember it so well is because one night we had 2 people come up to present their requests. And the first party was just out north of town. A lot of residents within that zone, 1,000 feet, and they all showed up. And they were not pleased about having a yapping dog kennel in their backyard. And really made their case. And regretfully, the Planning Commission voted not to, or recommended not to approve and pass that on. And I felt really sorry because, you know, like I said, I always want economic development. But I explained to the petitioner that had he gone to the people, because he had a good plan, it was all indoors, it was all controlled. It looked like, you know, if I was one of the neighbors, I wouldn't have a problem with it, the way he laid it out. But the people that came in to object, he didn't share those thoughts and take in some ideas from them to incorporate his plan. In other words, he didn't cooperate with his neighborhood first. So I urged him to go back and visit with the people and try to present it again before the board he hadn't returned. But conversely, the second petitioner came up for a dog kennel that was within a half a mile of my house. And I was outside the limits, but I was surprised it showed up when I got the information about the meeting. But nobody complained, and she had a good plan. Well, the married couple did, but I think she was more going to run it. And we approved that. So it just goes to the fact that, you know, you can have somebody applying for the same purpose, but due to the circumstances and the public input from the meetings, you got to take all that into consideration. Not everybody's on equal ground for different reasons. Sometimes it's public access to a state highway. Sometimes it's somebody wants to do an improvement or development, and it's on a minimum maintenance road. So if somebody wants to build a house on a minimum maintenance road, that puts a burden on the county that's going to have to come in and grab it for a school bus. Those are all issues that come up before planning. So you got to weigh all the facts, and a lot of that comes from public input, not a previously biased position. So I'm trying to clarify.
Do you have any questions?
I don't have one.
I do. Did he submit an application?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to inform the board, I was, the commission, I was at Mr. Willett's temporary hearing. And my question, if you want to pose it to Mr. Willett, is does he recognize why you guys overruled the decision regarding the moratorium? I mean, the legal.
Well, I think we explained it to him
Well,
in no uncertain terms.
Well, I'm not asking whether, I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I saw no evidence of a recognition of that.
Do you, and you're,
during the hearing.
that's a fair question. Do you understand why we overruled your, what I term illegal motion and illegal what
Motion
I
of a
term
moratorium.
myself, illegal motion and the illegal, what do I want to say, insertion of solar into the wind moratorium.
The letter stating my removal is for a violation of rules and regulations that were developed after my incident.
No, that's, hang on.
But
Okay, go ahead, you talk. You talk.
like I stated earlier, and we've talked about this before, I was planning to come in on Monday the 9th when we buried my mother-in-law, and I came back on the 16th after you jumped to conclusions. There was statements made by the previous commissioners that they wanted us to renew the wind moratorium because of insufficient regulations. The letter the next era said they plan to develop or put in a permit by May 2024, or when we develop regulations, whichever is sooner. I was under the impression that if we didn't have a moratorium on solar, we may get stuck with them having requested a permit prior to the completion of those regulations. So if you want to extend a wind moratorium for insufficient regulations, why wouldn't we want a moratorium on solar until we had some regulations and they were developed, passed, and approved? It was just a protection for the county, was all I was putting out. It was the input from the citizens the night of that meeting. There was 50 people there.
But you do understand why we removed you for that reason?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Because you're implying that's a coma violation.
Implying what?
Well,
Implying what?
A coma violation, or what else is illegal about putting solar, adding solar?
How long have you served on planning boards?
Oh,
You just
10
stated
years
how long
of
you served.
served, and 5 years here.
Okay, so I'm not gonna get into any big argument, but you ought to understand, after serving that long on the boards, the notification process.
Right, and we did that.
No, you did not.
They
No,
gave the
we,
time-
hang on, hang
The
on,
time,
hang
the
on,
date, and the
hang
place.
on.
Yeah,
No, the county did not. The county published for a wind moratorium, sir.
right, right,
A wind moratorium.
exactly.
If we let you illegally insert solar into that, we would be in violation of not notifying the public so they could come in and talk in that meeting if they were for or against the solar.
And that's
And
fine.
if you totally do not understand that right now, you're trying to make excuses for it.
I'm not making excuses. I'm giving you my
Okay.
train of thought.
Okay?
And when it was presented to the commission as a recommendation, they had two choices. They could accept our recommendation, or they could just say, no, we're not gonna accept the addition of and solar and send it back. You approve it or decline it. When it comes back to the planning commission, you know, if the planning commission felt like there needed to be a moratorium, and I wasn't the only one, there was a majority vote, okay?
And I stated to you the day you came in, when we asked you to come in to explain yourself,
I came in on the 16th,
that when we asked you to come and explain why you did it, and you still to this day think that you did nothing wrong. So I guess I've heard enough. I'm sorry. I've heard enough. Thank you for your application. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Linda, I appreciate your attendance at those meetings. Good to see you there.
You bet.
Okay, do we want to take some time to think over our applications? Let's go with that for a little bit. Has everybody read the minutes from March 3rd and March 10th?
I'm still working on her stuff.
Okay. I'm gonna take a little break here. Call a recess for 5 minutes.
we have to pay that regardless, $750. Okay. Okay, so is that in our monthly recurring payment? So it'll be an additional $4,000, right? An additional $1,995. Yeah,
But did you know
so it's not just a one.
how long would be the application dates for zoning board? It was through the other one, wasn't it?
The applications, no, we still, it's
So we got 50.
Until it's due.
it's actually advertised.
Okay, so we'll get 750 and 1995 to set up. And then it's in our monthly payment. So is our payment with them?
And Mark,
Yes, sir.
we have 4 positions to go to the house, and Vicky just signed it.
Three, I think so.
3.
Yeah, I believe it's 3.
Okay.
Okay.
So are they always just like 2-year terms? I mean, this one was from,
They,
Depends if they're,
when we changed the number,
okay,
they changed up how often they were on, so they had a constant rotation.
okay.
So that's, yeah.
Somebody would fill in different terms
Yes,
depending upon the slot.
yep.
All right. All right, thanks.
All right, we have 5 minutes, Rick, we're back in session.
I have something to talk to you about too.
I thought I was. Wasn't it?
that moves to approve the minutes from March 3rd,
The
and the
second,
minutes from March 10th, if you want those.
second.
Okay, been properly moved and seconded to, was there any corrections in any of
There
them?
was.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes from March 3rd and March 10th with corrections. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. All approved, same sign. Motion carried. John, we just have something to sign. So, are the corrections and stuff on these?
That one
I
doesn't
do-
have corrections, I'm the one that's got corrections.
Okay, this one does not have corrections?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So we do have some official minutes to sign. And Todd, as soon as we get done, do you have anything to bring before us?
Not really, just maybe updates and stuff,
Okay?
which is not much. It sent standard forms to the two contracts, McElroy's and Pat, and the little one to Scott. We're still in process on the other two matters, the open records request and right-of-way question for tribal matters.
Okay.
Programming note, I won't be able to attend next week when I'm heading to the ARWA conference, which I do attorneys forum there every year. So I'll be around and I can call
I got
if
free popcorn, I'm sure.
something comes up.
Is this your popcorn?
Okay.
I
Come
won't be
on.
live.
How many bags?
Whatever, just pass it out. Thank you.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. No popcorn? Okay.
Thank you.
I don't think there's anything else. Not come up with anything, so
Okay.
how's that? Not too tough, but.
So no, not too tough at all. So no news is good news.
I don't know about that.
All right. You know, I'm just trying to be.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, try. When you're, gotta go to Providence to get any game time, you gotta.
Yeah. Yeah. That's gonna be it's gonna be a fun tournament. It's gonna be a fun tournament. That's,
Should have did that, now we have to smell popcorn.
yeah. It does smell good. Christie, you said you had something?
I do, IP Pathways. Evidently, there is a dual authentication that Tim had incorporated with his contract. I can do the test site for it. It's gonna be a $750 one-time fee, and it's gonna raise our payment every month, $318.
Why? Why are we having, I don't understand why we're having the dual authentication, to be quite honest with you.
Well,
Whether,
Aaron and I talked, and if you guys aren't set on dual authentication, if you're gonna pay that $318, we'd rather have somebody come to site once a month.
That's true.
yeah,
I haven't signed or did anything with this, because I didn't realize it was something like that.
That's something
Well, that was-
somebody else has to do authentication before they can sign in to you guys?
No, I sign in and then I get a notice on my phone.
notice on your phone.
That I have to say
Yeah.
approved. And then there's a box that you mark that you stay logged in for 12 hours, so I'm not sure.
And you're saying they're gonna charge us an additional $350 a month?
$118
Plus
more, plus
$318 a month?
there's $750 one-time fee, and then I think there was another $1,200 fee.
I'm not in favor of that.
I'm not in favor of it myself personally. I don't know why.
So, my question to you,
Yep.
this is our contract. So it has that
not paying for it
Which
already, I
one
don't see why.
is this?
This is ID pathways,
Okay.
this would be to do authentication, the drug authentication.
So this is, you already paid for it, or this is the contract with HUD?
No, that's the contract we've already signed.
When was it signed? So you already, well, I mean, it's a non-recurring charge. No, but that's, I mean, all they're doing is, and this says that that's a one-time payment, right? 376.31.
3-year contract.
So there's a bill they paid
So
in
maybe we pay,
Norfolk contracting.
For who?
Norfolk, yeah,
Yeah.
contracting to 54 Bridge, so like,
With my
they put it in or they just
It
oversee
was,
it?
They installed it.
They installed it, okay.
Yeah, they're the ones that build it, install it.
The reason we did
Even though
that
it's-
years ago, we
they say
used to
it's,
install the bridge
Right.
package, but we had,
they're
there
putting
had
it
not
back
been
in
inspection
here.
on the crane.
Yeah, so
Oh,
you
yeah.
can double check, so they said, no, you've
25
already paid that now.
It's just,
But if it's not
I
shown
got
here,
you.
you're right.
So we made a decision that it's cheaper
That's in here.
to have Norfolk
Now, if they
install
all
the
billing
bridge
you,
than it is for us
this
to
was
own the
not
equipment.
in it.
Okay. And so are those the one, people you use all the time?
I guess I need to get a.
It goes out to bid.
Goes out to bid.
Typically, they're always a little bit.
That's the same
Where are
as
they
this.
from?
Yeah, and my understanding.
Up in Nebraska,
Okay.
yeah.
One's, okay, one
Yeah.
didn't circle back here, okay, okay.
And they're,
But they didn't put
it
it
is,
in
and
here.
their engineers are current.
So because that's.
So it's all taken care of now.
It's been a good deal.
But they put that up here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Scott
So,
had
yeah, I guess to check to see if.
this, we put on this email link with him and say Sarah
These two.
for the contract, so I'm going to
I would
forward
say
that to Christie, have her send it to you guys.
technically,
Todd,
Since I signed it.
it's got an actual breakdown of what the costs are, but I'm trying to see in there. Let me do that right now, Sarah. Too far down this rabbit hole. Christie, I'm going to send you this contract. And if you would forward it on to everyone else.
I sent you all an email this morning to use that.
You did, you said?
With 2 attachments. And that was
No, these-
just done,
I just received that this morning.
and you've read that?
Which one's that?
I'm sorry. Email from Christie with 2 attachments.
I think you got this in here.
This? Oh, this is not contract. You mean this is?
Yeah, that's what I forwarded.
Yeah, that's not a con, it's an amended petition and the notice of appeal in that case. And the only amendment was is that there was, it didn't properly name county. So it's a technical correction. I guess they're still, they have a motion to dismiss in play and they're gonna continue with that. But the appeal is on the ground.
So really nothing.
Well,
I mean, right now, it's.
well, there's still some back and forth in the, about whether, but how the appeal affects things, but for this purpose, it's nothing urgent for you guys, they got it under control.
Okay,
Do I need to send this to Todd also?
yes, please, that's got the contract in it, so I want him to look everything over on that.
maybe purchasing some election equipment also,
Some what?
some election equipment. Probably at about 50,000.
I think that's, I don't know, feel what you got
I'd
right
say you
now.
go back to count wheels, count balance one at a
Well,
time.
I'm gonna recruit you all to come in and help.
I have arthritis, sorry.
What do you need, Keith?
They used to string them up on the string.
Didn't they like cut the corners and that's what they tap through?
Yep.
And then you had a, didn't you have a chalkboard?
Yep.
Yep, still got a chalkboard, right?
Oh, and I am done with all of my certification for elections, so I'm official with the Secretary of State.
Good.
Finished that up last week.
Was that the Mulvaney or was that the Slime?
That's fine. No banks. I got so much fun.
We were first.
Yeah, I take my dad for surgery somewhere.
Are we just skipping the 30th and the 31st?
Yeah. I don't see anything else.
Oh, I thought maybe it was swap or something. Maybe.
I don't know, my wedding plans are only 5 months away. I didn't realize that till last night, right?
It's 5 months. For heaven's sake, all you need is a day.
Would you like my child?
We got the invitation, by the way. Thank you very much. I'm excited.
They are super excited. Mom is just super tired and super broken.
Know that feeling. Let's see. Yeah, so if you just want to look over this contract and let us know, good, bad, indifferent. It
Yeah,
expired on 4/4, so.
I wanna,
There's a bunch of links down there, and
yeah,
so I want you
I
to.
thought he was developing something specific.
Well, that's kind of what I thought too. I don't see anything in here that said this much for, unless it's not in here, but it's
Yeah.
still the same price. You know, this much for the software, the licenses, so on and so forth, but this is gonna be taken out for our Link to the Stars program. And I don't see that in there anywhere.
Yeah, that was what it was. There was something dealing with how they were gonna link to the stars.
Yeah, that they're still working on, but I don't wanna pay for it if we're not gonna have it, but I don't even see that in there. So I don't know if that's gonna supposedly be an additional cost or what, so, we'll get Scott back here and have him get in contact with Matt, because this is, I think this is just exactly what we saw before, actually. But I wanna make sure that we're not paying for something we're not getting.
Is this the one that they sent, cause it sent,
That's the very first
More
one.
tax business? Oh, no.
No, I have the form register.
no, this is exactly the same as this one.
Yeah, and it's not what we asked for, so.
Yeah. Not moving the ball.
Okay.
There is enough money in employee benefits. Just understand that can change through the year. You know, people start picking up their family plans.
Like what kind of a surplus and what kind of of cushion do we have? Not a surplus, just a
What do you
cushion.
mean if we start picking up on them?
Well, if, we've got enough that even if we pick up paper plans, we're still.
So basically, if somebody else just starts out as a single plan and then goes, my wife's gonna quit her job and be a stay-at-home mom,
Yeah.
and I need a family plan.
But maybe from this point on, somehow it needs explained to them, so we don't get in the situation again,
I wanted to
just
ask
in
that,
case.
too.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Do we want to do an addendum to the policy and put something in our policy manual that this is how the county does a family plan if you are both employees of the county?
And what the
I
state
think-
or federal law is.
I think that would be a good idea
Because we don't
myself.
want to get into it again.
Yeah.
I mean, chances are we won't, but just in case.
Yeah, I've never.
Yeah, you sign on to a family plan, you sign on for a year, and you're both employed by the county, you probably don't have a choice. Right? You don't, that was a problem, they don't let you have two single plans.
Well, we could, but we don't do that because
Yeah.
it saves the county money.
If it's cost more money for the county to do that.
Okay, yeah,
It was a benefit for the county.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably good, that's the key part of the explanation,
Right.
for why it's different. We will enroll you in a family plan.
Because we have this insurance for what, 5 to 6 more years? How many years?
I think five.
So, yeah, I mean, another insurance, it could be a different
I'd
scenario.
really like to ask them, okay, I want examples of what your common reports. I want to know
Yeah,
what to tell me.
I think they've got some kind of, I'm sure they've got something that says like ACA compliant. And Affordable Care Act
Do you want to look at
compliant.
those? See what the record goes on it.
See anything
I
that
didn't
Korte
know.
knows?
Just the ones I questioned about the concert.
I'll write something up and then send it to you.
I can do
You
my,
can do your math too.
that's all it is, it's just a lot of hand waving. Secret motion.
Here, I can show my age, how's this?
Are we gonna be genie?
For the twitch of the nose.
Oxford House, Bell West in Topeka, Kansas. This letter that, it's a bill, or no, it's a suggestion. It says, I'm writing this letter to inform you that Chris Clinton was accepted into Bell West, Oxford, 223.5, and moved in on 226. The fee is $150. EES is $95. And total amount due for the month would be $530.
Is that something to do with work?
I don't know.
Can I see what number is it?
Aaron.
260 number?
It is a 266.
That's correct.
Okay, okay.
Actually, no, that's not, that's a double corrections. It's gonna be Aaron Robinson.
Oh, okay, so Aaron is the one that's, okay. Okay, that explains it.
I can show you news, you guys probably know.
What's that?
I'm having
Get a full house in a hurry.
And Dad is a stay-at-home dad. I think he's really gonna be in shock.
Okay, here's what I'm sending back to Matt from Santa Sarah. Morning, Matt. The question we had last week during our discussion was whether or not we were being billed for the gateway between Santa Sarah and Stars. If we are, that would need to be pulled out until the system is operational. If we are not, what is the additional cost going to be? Does that make sense? All right.
Just part of this is that they said they could merge the systems or.
At some point.
They said it'd be like a couple months, but I don't want to pay for something if we're not going to get it.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
What's the agreement? Where in the agreement does it say they have to do that?
That's what I want taken care of.
Yeah.
You just want the bills, to sign the sign off sheet. Thank you.
Yeah, we just need the third.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have March 10th and March 3rd. Today's the
Today's
17th.
17th, yeah.
She's really moving me along.
Oh, okay, okay.
Guys, look at your new thing from the Kansas Association of Counties. There was an email from them the 13th, and I'm gonna have to get it to open up bigger because I can't see what they're showing all of it. But what it looks like and what they're saying is that there was tax exemptions and the impact on Kansas counties, nearly $43 billion worth of appraised real estate value was exempt from paying taxes in Kansas. 7 Kansas counties had over $1 billion worth of exempt appraised value. Exempt properties are not exempt from county services, so the lost revenue must be collected elsewhere. Top 5 counties with the highest total exempt value: Morton with 41.7, Riley with 40.4, Jackson with 31.6, Clark with 31.2, and Marion with 25.2.
That was set on the, what day?
The 13th.
And is it like one of those?
It was sent to my inbox, but if you're on the
Yeah.
association website, you should see that. But what I will do is I will send this to Christie and have her send it to you guys if you don't see it.
Like the weekly digest type thing?
I'm on their website and registered for their other things that they send out too. So this is like on their,
Is it their county comment?
no,
Okay.
Okay.
but I'll get Christie to send this
So
to
we
you
ranked
guys.
third.
We ranked 3rd out of the state.
Of lost revenue.
Yep,
Through exemptions?
yep, for property tax exemptions. 31.6%.
Because of the 33,000 acres that have been taken off the tax roll.
Is that, I guess I'm wondering if that's what the county, as opposed to applications. Right?
They were asking for,
I mean, because if you want to exempt property, you have to apply.
yes,
Okay. And I forgot they applied for, did they apply for the occupancy list to be exempt?
Through the Bureau of
through the Bureau of
Indian
Indian Affairs, yeah.
Okay.
It takes
Or
3
Department
years
of
of
Interior.
ownership. It takes 3 years of ownership. Then they apply through the BIA. It comes back to us. We either have a choice to sign or object. If you object, it goes to federal court and you lose.
Yeah.
So we quit paying to go to federal court. Not because we didn't have good attorneys, it's just because we lose.
And they told you that, right? You're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have that email.
You guys gonna need me for anything else, or you didn't? Just gonna make the call?
I can't think of anything. If you're gonna take off, take off.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks then, right?
Yep,
All right.
but if you want to, call it.
If we need something, we'll give you a holler.
Thanks.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it.
No problem. It's just gonna be rain. I'm making my prediction right now. Hard rain.
Yeah, we don't want it to wait.
I'm gonna hold it, you do that.
Yep.
See you later.
All right, have a good one, guys.
You go.
So what are your questions?
Mark, was it under, like, this legislative, was it under like the one big thing or 28 weekly legislative?
She forwarded just a little.
Yeah, 'cause I got the 13. This right here?
Yeah, yeah, and open, right click on that, to open up the pictures.
This one here?
Yep. And to open everything. Like get up in the, put your arrow on the X. Should have pictures,
Yeah, I tried to look through
because it is right there in that big box is where it is.
in this one.
That right there. Yeah, right click or tab. Download pictures. Right here. Perfect.
I'm just curious why it comes up that way.
It's some kind of safety BS thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, you're fine. We need that to be forwarded on to.
I'm good right now.
Okay.
Jackson County registered. You know why Morton County? I know Big Red One is why I
Yeah,
What's more than that?
no idea. Might have to look that up.
Gotta be
Yeah, I think this is part of the,
federal installation.
when I came back from that one meeting down there, was it Government Days? They had shared with us then the list of 13 that people were giving for the property tax exemptions and things. And we were not listed on there, so when I got back, I got hold of Christie. I get a hold of you and ask you to fill out the survey out for Kid Association counties. Yeah. So that's why we're on there right now, so that's why we took our proper place. So
That's good. What's that? So, this has to do with that, this says 4 11 months, but if he would have to quit, you know, so
Right.
that would be 11 months.
Maybe I should add that.
yeah, I think you ought to add that. I think that's a very good point.
Just in case.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, I said, unless the employment is terminated by either party before the year is up.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
And I think I'm gonna put at the bottom the test, so we can have our seal on it. when it's
Yeah.
finished.
makes sense.
I'm gonna ask for an executive session for matters relating to non-elected personnel for 10 minutes.
So moved.
Seconded?
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to go into executive session for non-elected personnel. All in favor, any more further discussion? Not hearing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. To include the clerk and the board, 10 minutes.
I would move that we.
All right, hang on just a second. We're out of executive session and no decisions were made, so go ahead.
I would move that we appoint David Anderson, Jason Patrick Murphy, and Chris Gordon to the zoning and planning board. Complete that board, 5 in the county, 4 in the city, incorporated city.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to appoint David Anderson, Chris Gordon, and Jason Murphy to the Jackson County Planning Board. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Christie, if you will please have Kate notify the 4 applicants of our decision, I would appreciate that. All right. Is there any further business to come before this board today?
So we need to make,
Is there a
Okay.
signed agreement and there was.
okay, that works.
Yeah, I think it was a general concession on
Okay.
that, or consensus on that,
Okay,
we would go along with that and approve that. So
makes
I don't
sense.
believe there needs to be a motion on there.
Sounds good.
All right, any further business? I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
It's been properly moved and seconded. We adjourn this meeting today. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay.